Welcome back, heroes and heroines, to Practising Programming in C, in which we're going to listen to nothing from this day on any year. We are going to listen to some other stuff. First album up is Amadou and Mariam's Dimanche à Bamako. Don't know if that's pronounced right at all, so don't write in. I think I'd like to do another couple of hours and then call it a day. Oh, there's 10cc up there. This is the one with I'm Not In Love on, isn't it? Yeah. Actually, I wanted to listen to a bit of Alison Weir, didn't I? Where's she? So they're all in my playlist. You can see they're in the playlist because these guys are bold yellow, whereas the stuff that's not in the playlist, well, what can I show you? The stuff that's not in the playlist are this particular colour here, and this is a good album as well, actually. Only 128 kilobits per second though. Not good enough. Let's queue up other. So that'll give us an hour and a half. Let's put Limbo on at the end. There we go, that should be perfect. So that'll take us to midnight. So yeah, eagle-eyed viewers may actually see that my home directory here, or my home partition actually, is getting a bit full. File systems thing here, the key is used total free. So we've got used of my home 904 gig, total is 914, and the free is 10.6 gig. Just while we're on the break, I would just exchange a few words with the great Martins Mosaico, and he mentioned that he had just run out of space for something. He was recording the 4-coder jam. He ran out of space doing that, but he had, as Martins does, he had like another server recording it, so he'd lost nothing. But yeah, so he's got a huge array of hard drives. But anyway, I then spotted that I've got 10.5. So that means we've got about 8 hours of streaming that we can do before we need to actually invest in some more stuff. I don't think I can reapportion the var partition to home. I don't think that's really possible. And root is a completely different disk. I think it's a different disk. So yeah, probably time that I just got a new thing. But we are streaming now for another couple of hours, and we're looking into the bug that we have just encountered at the end of the last stream, which is as a result of our new include parsing, essentially. So let's have a quick run. We're getting an invalid field. I think we're only seeing an invalid field message out here in this function, token scopes, or scope tokens rather. So I think something is incorrect. And you can see here it's in Project Risky. So I reckon we've correctly parsed this thing here, but we have not correctly parsed this. we're getting load and person tokenize that, and then we're printing the pair. We're supposedly tokenizing this guy again, which we shouldn't really do, actually. We were talking about disambiguating it, weren't we? Tell you what, this will need to be fixed, but let me just comment out this just to see what happens and see if we actually get to the finish. We don't. So let's investigate this first. So it's saying it's a heap used after free. So we enter the second project. So we enter in this scope here. So we're seeing that something is a scope. It's not an ident include. We're printing out this pair, which is this dude here. Print current token, which at this point is going to then be the open brace. Now, because we're calling current fields in spec, and because also there's this scope tokens call here, let me just try another thing, just to see if I can narrow down the problem. Pretty sure that should work. As in, it should actually consider it to be a comment. Okay, so we do get through that. Do we get the mediums? We don't get the mediums, so that's cool. So that you can see that there are mediums here. And one of the things that I did was I just commented out the mediums in the Cinera include permissions. But if I do that, we should see mediums, and we do. There you go. Ah, that's a problem, isn't it? So, what's happening there is that we're managing to pass the medium. Yeah, we're going to be missing all these, aren't we? So we need to actually sort of say, when you say this or this, we need to know that what you mean is all of its scopes. Sorry, all of its fields. So let's do that. Let's do that as a first port of call. This is going to have to take the type specs. Which should be no problem, shouldn't it? You want to take all of them. Where's push rule? There's pass rule string. Okay, that guy does push rule. I mean, push. Just make it take it. You want to push the rule, and then you want to say, if the type spec is a scope. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, I suppose actually, it's like, sorry, it would be in pass rule string, wouldn't it? So our current pointer is at I sort of feel like I do feel like when I get down to here, I want to be saying skip white space. I know that I sort of was playing with that before and decided against it. I think I do want to skip white space here. Sorry, we're being past tokens, aren't we? Oh, that's the point, we're being past tokens. So we've only got the full string. We don't know what the next. We haven't got the next token. Sorry. That's not right. That's not what I mean. That isn't the case. The case is because this whole thing is within the string, right? Pass rule string. What we want to say is, if we have come to the end of the string, in other words, if we've got to here, then we can then see if this thing itself is a scope. And if it is, then just push on all of its all the fields that it contains. Which just distinguishes from this guy, because once we've got to here and we're pushing the rule for the project, we can then do the check here. Are we at the end of the string at this point? We won't be, because the end of the string is there. So you won't bother. I mean, maybe this is prone to being written completely bullshitly by people, because I can sort of see people being able to essentially do this sort of a thing. They could write project, open brace, And then there, they could just write... Well, I mean, a project does contain most things, actually. But they could write... well, let's do this. They could write this, for example. Right, a person, a medium cannot contain a person. But what would happen is... I mean, I guess... Ideally, right, you do want to be able to say, when you've passed this out, you get the field, you get the type spec for this field. And then when you go into these guys, you then see if this is a type spec, if this is a field within that type spec, just as we're doing down in the main function. But no, what I was going to say was, you can open a situation where you do this, you see if that's a scope, you know, you go through there, you see, you come to here and you say, are we at the end of this string? No, we're not. Then you proceed, and then you pass this dude in, and you say, is this a scope? Right, which will satisfy one of our things. Well, you'd pass this in, and then you'd see, at this point, are we at the end of the string? And we're still not at the end of the string, right? So this is going to sort of... not go to the bit where it checks to see if this is a scope and then pulls all its fields in. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, and I just don't need to bother about that. You know, if somebody does a configuration that's not right, then that's on them, I guess. Although it would be better if I actually tell people what they're wrong about. So the rule that I was just talking about was, if we're at the end of the string, where's I get? Oh, I's right up there. Okay. Right. So if we're at the end of the string, because that would be the case, wouldn't it? Plus I plus the length. Yeah, I think that would be right. Feels right to me. So then if I yeah, I think that would be right. If it's got to the end. That does seem right to me. Let's go with it. So if we got to the end of the thing, then what you say is, you get the field type from this dude. So from the type specs, rather, you get the get type spec. Yeah, do I have a get type spec? In fact, we certainly do. There we go. From the type specs, and you want to set, right, I don't know. Sleeping over the number of type specs. Yeah, that seems okay to me. Field ID. So it's field count. This doesn't like this. Pass rule string rules that one to the type spec. Don't think I did anything suspicious there, so it should just pull in all the fields for the person, all the fields for the medium. So it's parse rule string, a read of size 4. On line 1739. Doesn't like push rule. Didn't read. Typespec field count. What is the typespec field count? It's 3 and 2, so that sounds fine. Because we're adding a person and a medium. And a person can contain a name, a homepage and a support. Oh shit. Yeah, if you think about it. This thing cascades, right? If you want to be able to, if you want to permit somebody to add an entire person, you need to permit them to add a whole support, right? Well, I mean, let me put it another way. Like if you say allow person like that, yeah, that should be fine actually, shouldn't it? Like if you say that, then the rule is that you just include all of those fields and all of the fields of the support as well. I mean, we've only got one scope deep, right? We only need to go one more deep. But it's just kind of bizarre, like the situations you're getting into here. Because basically, right, what I'm saying is you'd have to do don't know what's best to call this. I mean, so we're getting the type spec, at least two type specs, and it's a type spec 1. Oh, I isn't right, is it? So what have I done wrong? Yeah, so now we get all the mediums. Look at that. Look at that scoping. That's pretty impressive. So the very first thing we're doing is getting a config identifier from a string. If we get one, then we push a rule for that particular ID. If we've come to the end of the string, then we try and get a type spec for that ID, right? If we've got a type spec, then we loop over all of those fields, pushing a rule for them, and for each of those rules, or for each of those fields, we try and get their type spec from type spec 1. Right. And if we do get a type spec for those guys, then we add their fields. Now I think push rule should actually disambiguate as well, as deduplicate rather. Right. I don't know if I fixed anything that could have been preventing that from working. I might have done. And the other thing was this thing, wasn't it? Okay, so I probably was just iterating over the wrong dude. I was using the wrong index in here. Let's try and prohibit medium. Well, let's try and set some project stuff that shouldn't be set. So you should only be allowed to set the default medium. And also, let me just take this out of the equation once more. You should only be allowed to set the project and its default medium. Let's try and set chapter. So that's not showing up at all, which is great. Where would this be? Being past things, predictor, isn't it? Yeah, in scope tokens. Field is permitted. Yeah. God damn it, where was I? Let's colorize it. I mean, yeah, it'd probably just be a warning actually anyway. Field was not permitted. So we've got a couple not permitted. That's interesting. So project risky. Default medium programming. Aha. Did it prohibit default medium as well? Yeah, interesting. So that's wrong. Oh, it's the big guy. That should show up, shouldn't it? Default medium. Let's jump into this, parse rule string. Oh, it's not set. So we found the person. Okay, so it's found that person there. So this is the one rule string, so we should just get all the way out of here and come through again. That's the medium. Okay. So here we go. This is the project. It doesn't. So yeah, we're incrementing the thing. Is it a valid character? Possibly not, no. Because that's going to be the space. So then we're going to have the opening brace. This will be another space. Well, maybe not. Okay, yeah, so we're positioned at default medium. So we should be... What is this? It's just a normal thing. So we found default medium. Oh, the length is set to 4. Why is that? Why is the length set to 4? The S base is set to that address. This is maybe 64 bits. Yeah, that might be not right. Let's try that again. Segfault on there. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I think I'm. It's not that. So I want to be positioning the base. I mean, I guess to be on the safe side, if you just do that, So the S base, I just want to put that pointer. I want to be setting that pointer to be the address of the rule strings contents. Can I do this? No. How about that? I can do that. It's pointer arithmetic, isn't it? Yeah, it's pointer arithmetic all the time. I think that should be right. Because these guys are both 64, well, they're both pointers. And incrementing this by I should increment it by the actual pointer size. So yes, that's probably more like what I actually want. Project. So we're at project. So the next time round, why are we not? So add the default medium, and its length is 4 again. I need to go back through that again. Like, why? Because the S base is being positioned at the correct place. Yes, I do not understand why that is coming out at 4. Because the length is 7, which is the length of the project thing, which is perfect. Let's rerun it again. There's the project. So let's go. Let's just get through to here and see what it does. So what is the rule string? So we're at the opening brace. Should be a space now. So they're at our D, which is a valid character string. So we're going to initialize a new string. Yeah, and also see the syntax here, the plus I and the brackets I, they're essentially the same thing, aren't they? Because I could effectively write this, couldn't I? Yeah, so that's printing this plus I. You know, I could do this, which is going to be printing it from the start, right? Print project. doing that prints all that lot from default medium. What happened there? Did I just double? Oh no, sorry, it was this, wasn't it? So I had this, which started there. Do this, which is going to start there. Right. So that's where we are, we're at default medium. I is 10. And what is the rule string? That's 26. So it reckons... it reckons I've got 16 characters to play with. Is that true? I mean, as I understand it, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 15, 16. So, yeah, okay. Fine. So we've positioned our base. Right, that's our default medium. We're not going to do anything. Well, I is less than the rule string content length. Right, I was 10. S base. Oh. That was the mistake there. Well, actually, let's see if I can continue stepping through that so you can just see what was going to go on. Or see if we're going to just describe what was going to go on. So we set an S base is equal to this position here. If I'm seeing if S base at I is valid, right, I'm going to be looking. Remember that the S base is set some way into the rule string content base, the rule string content. I'm essentially looking too far ahead to see where this thing is. Right, does that make sense? Because if I is 10, so we're starting from here, starting from this P, I at 10, if I is 10, or whatever it was, 16, 10, yeah, 10, I starts off at 10, which is supposed to be here, but that isn't correct, right? That isn't the base, right? When we set the base 0 is here, right? So we're effectively looking at this character. So that's why we're only getting up to 4. So we should see that. Yeah, we should see none of those errors. None of those field was not permitted errors, because we're not parsing it correctly. And yeah, indeed we don't. so that's working. Aha, yeah. So if we now just add that back in, we should get one of those errors, shouldn't we? Yeah, field is not permitted. There we go. And then it continues to parse it correctly. Is that the only... Is that the actual only condition there? Yeah, I think that was the only condition. So let's print that out. And also let's only make the warning part that colour. Sorry, it was this, wasn't it? I wanted that. Oh right. So what is it? Is it strings? Perfect. Now there's a little bit that I haven't actually done, haven't handled. If we haven't got rules, or I essentially want to be saying field is permitted. So we're taking the ruled and the field. So field is permitted should be able to say CRT allow. Sorry. If the scheme is equal to thingamajig allow. So we've got all our mediums there. So now if we just switch the sense of the whole thing. Yeah, the mediums don't appear. And if you have a mixture, we should get a error. Are we not printing an error? Yeah, we're not. Oh, actually, we're returning something, aren't we? So it should be really in the scheme mixture. Yeah, there we go. It's pretty descriptive error, I think. So what's happened here is we found that there's a scheme mismatch, or a mixture of schemes. So we actually we just straight up ignored the whole include thing, right? That's all we've done. And at this point, we should have, what information have we got? We've got the value content. So this is probably what we're talking about. The value content is going to be the file name. Where's tokenize happening? Tokenize happening here. So yeah, I suppose actually this is not relevant, is it? It's actually the file name of this person is what we want to be talking about, which will be in the tokens. Well, Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to go through and actually write some properly decent error messages. So maybe I'll just leave this in here, kind of like this for now, with a view to actually doing the proper stuff at a later date. You know, when I'm just in the mode to just do all error messages essentially. Not a big deal, but it's just a bit of a different, just a little bit of a mode switch, you know. How are we doing? We're going for an hour. We are streaming and we're recording. We haven't dropped any frames. I don't know if we've had any issues with rendering. CPU is at 74. This is instructive. So what? Yeah, I think previously had some issues with it struggling to encode. See, my CPU is average up around this area here. Kind of a good job. I don't really use any applications that are super labor intensive. Let's just see if this makes any difference at all. So that's like 63, 62. In fact, did I find that it didn't make much of a difference at all? Is that what I found? So it was fast, wasn't it? Yeah, it doesn't seem to make any difference. Maybe it only kicks in when you restart the actual video capturing. What else was there? We've made sure that this file loads correctly. Invalid identifier. Yeah, I suppose what does that mean? Does that mean when it's not deny or allow? Oh, it's going to kick out of it too soon because it's going to see all those dudes. It's going to see the mixture and then just only report that. Which is slightly unfortunate, but I guess that's how it goes sometimes. So invalid identifier. So what does this mean? So that this guy is already warning on it. Yeah. Kind of suggesting that yeah, I suppose this guy can report the invalid identifier, and then this guy, or the outer dude, the outer lady could report the syntax error. Yeah, because you could conceivably skip out a thing, couldn't you? Like if you do this sort of an idea. get the syntax error, but we didn't get the message that we missed this mixture thing. So yeah, maybe it'd be better to make this person print out the mixture discrepancy. Yeah, we do have the tokens, which is kind of handy. Do we have the correct tokens? I think we do have the correct tokens. So this time we get the config error mixture of allow and deny identifiers and include scope within files, Cinera config, and we get a syntax error. Obviously, like I say, error messages, it needs to say what the actual problem is. Let's see if we've got any to-dos around. To-do loading tokenizers and parse the included file. Deduplicate include files. Just to reuse the already tokenized file. Yeah, I need to do that. Depart include assignments. Yeah, that's all dealt with. Don't need to do that. Yeah, we're still got to think about that, the title list stuff. Free token set. So that's just a print, it's saying to remove it. There's the deduplicate include files. Merging to series, yeah, let's merge that. Push tokens. Token set. This is already being set, isn't it? When you go to tokenize. Or, to put it another way, when we refile into buffer, it sticks that file name in. So yeah, that's just done. Don't need to do that. Type checking if possible. Oh, that's the final one. So where are we here? We're in make string. Oh right. Oh, it's this. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can make. I don't know if you can do type checking on stuff that comes in as a void star, which is what's going to happen here. Well, when I say void star, it's kind of like it's just whatever it is, isn't it? So yeah, that's completely separate. Don't know if it's even possible. I don't have that. Do I have the strings differ one? Is that still sitting around? Yeah, okay. Why is that getting indented there? Okay. This is a little bit dodgy. Well, is it dodgy? Nah, probably fine. There we go. So we're using that invalid or invalid thing. So invalid field. Ah, no, it's not that, is it? Well, maybe it could be, maybe. Probably is, actually. Sorry. Doesn't it not? Oh, right. It's only the past dudes that actually have that. I wonder what the current index is at this point, actually. Yeah, cool. So we're at the end of the tokens. So you need to stuff us back to the beginning. So should we scope into tokens for this thing here? Oh, that might be true, actually. In fact, that is true. Yeah, that's perfect. The error invalid field is telling me that I'm trying to include within this project scope a load of stuff that I shouldn't be including, namely persons and mediums. You shouldn't be including those in scopes in their projects. So that's perfect. That's exactly what should be happening. We've lost. We don't have a field. But what do we have? We do have the token, don't we? Yeah, we have the current token. Yeah, perfect. Maybe we need to make a version of this that is actually for human consumption. Print token. Leave it for now. I suppose also we could say, maybe in brackets you could put the thing. I don't know, like I was saying before, I'll do the full thingamajig another time. Yeah, because people aren't going to want to know what number token things are they? They're not going to care about that. Probably not the terminology identifier either. All they want to know is that online what's its face ain't valid. I think we also have the type spec, the actual type spec. So we could conceivably sort of say well, it's parent, isn't it? Parent type spec. To see what that looks like. Yeah, so it's like project scope may not contain a medium. Something like that. They probably need to communicate something to the effect of that we're actually parsing, they're actually using an included file. But that's pretty sexy, isn't it? That we can just easily reuse the tokens for this guy. Programming's cool. Programming is the bee's knees. Underscope token should actually just, well, actually no, probably shouldn't actually reset the current index. So yeah, we're deduplicating. I mean, saying reusing is a bit of a just sort of showing off at this point, so maybe just don't do that. I wonder what happens if you've misspelled your directory, if your include name. No such file directory. To handle that, alright. Shouldn't play a template begin parsed in from somewhere. Yeah, we're missing that, aren't we? We're missing the template player. Sorry, the player template. There's player location. There's the templates there. See if we pull it in at any point. Oh, well, I mean, Tommy said that. So you get this include, Cinera included. No such file directory. Oh, I see. So this guy, I see what's happening. Well, no, I don't actually. No, sorry, no, I don't. If we come into parse include rules, so we're going to be sitting at this semicolon. If the token is a semicolon, what I'm suggesting is that we iterate past it and return RC success. Right. So that should go in. Going through these tokens. So Go through the whole thing. Let's step into it and just watch what it does. Basically what we're looking for here is this player template equals template player line getting passed. Yeah, because you can see nobody actually ever ends up with it. Well, Ray wouldn't actually, but reader should. Okay, so there's player template. So where's risky? There's co-add. Bulk. Risky should be coming up. There's risk. Here's risky. So risky is getting player template set to this. Risky at the top level. Oh, it is getting player template set to that. So what was I seeing then, I wonder? Hero code Ray risky. Loading token as a parsing included file. Right, so we're including this person here. Is it just the case that I'm not printing out all the tokens? Is that just what it was? So I wasn't getting the full picture. Because what should happen is, we come into this project risky, and it absorbs all the stuff above it. Then we see the include. It's going through all of these dudes. Oh, yeah, and we're only ever printing out the whole thing at the very end. So yeah. Okay, I think we're fine. So it is parsing this. Yeah, I mean everything's just working, isn't it? I can't think of anything that isn't working. Which is always slightly troubling. Shouldn't that let me do something? Change, deny. So now we are free of all the mediums. Add other persons. And the product default medium. So risky should not get a default medium. Set to programming. Right. As you see, the hero gets that's the project before risky. That gets passed in before that. So we should see that this guy has no default medium now, and yeah, it doesn't. Same with that. I think one thing maybe we don't still have a good story about is determining when something is an actual project that has to produce an actual kind of set of web pages. And when one is it's just basically a kind of a placeholder, really. It's just a way of scoping these to sort of set this. Or well, let me just set this owner. We might have to think about how that's going to shake out. Let's allow those because that's what I actually want. And we could also do with thinking about default permissions. In fact, we could do with thinking about defaults in general. For example, the default update interval. Right, we're going to have some sort of a default for that, because otherwise they'll never know when to update. Probably default log level as well. And these guys, these modes, ignoring privacy and single browser tab, will probably have to default to 0 too, to false rather. But I think that's something that we can maybe just consider when we've finished all this stuff and we've pasted it into Cinera's file, and we're just kind of getting it all working together. So I mean, I kind of feel reasonably satisfied that the including stuff is working okay. Still don't have the story about the title suffixes and all that kind of, the title list and all that kind of stuff. We still don't know about that. But I kind of feel like the tokenizing, the parsing, and the including is all working. So the final thing to do is to resolve these variables. Resolve those variables and stick them into the actual structures. Yeah, I don't think we missed anything, and if we have missed anything, we can always just go back and just do what we need to do, can't we? But yeah, for now, I think that's just gonna have to do for now. We got done what we wanted to do. And yeah, there was no real surprises really. Just doing the rules, and that was it really, wasn't it? Just setting out the rules. Yeah, let's call it there. We have done plenty enough for one day. We've done an hour and 40 now. Did about an hour and, was it 2 hours earlier? Something like that, I don't know. But I think we're done. So thanks very much, heroes and heroines, for being heroic, for being beautiful, for being attentive, and all manner of inspiring. Until tomorrow, when we're going to continue with the resolution, isn't it? It's resolving of variables. So yeah, until then, farewell for now.